Hello viewers, welcome back to another episode here on our channel. Please, if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe and turn on the notification button so that whenever I upload you get notified. Let us get into our first story. Our first story reads like this. I have kept this secret for 2 years now, but the way things are going, I think it's time I spoke the truth. My name is Lisa. I'm 36 and I'm originally from Zambia, born in Ndola but raised mostly in Lusaka. I moved to South Africa in search of a better life like so many of us do. I thought things would get better once I crossed the border, but life humbled me. I lived in the back rooms of Tembisa, hopping from one job to the next. Sometimes I sold airtime, sometimes I walked up as a cleaner, and sometimes I just sat in the dark hoping my luck would change. And then it did, but not in a way you are thinking. I got rich because of a talking doll. Yes, a doll, not a lucky charm, not a vision. A wooden doll that whispered lotto numbers to me at night. That same doll also took away parts of my peace, my safety, and maybe even my soul. Let me tell you what happened. I met her on a hot Sunday afternoon at the Kempton Park taxi rank. She was just an old woman with a head wrap sitting next to a crate full of old little wooden figures and cloth bags. I wasn't even planning to stop, but she looked straight at me and said, "You are walking with poverty, but your shadow wants wealth. You just need a mouth that can speak your lucky." Her voice gave me chills. She reached into her bag and pulled out a strange-looking doll. It was carved from dark wood with red beads for eyes and a small cracked mirror on its chest. Its mouth looked like it had been stitched and pulled open. She said, "This one talks, it gives you numbers, lotto, names, even pins. But once you take it, you don't disrespect it." I asked how. She said, "No money, just return the favor when it's time." I should have walked away, but I was broke. I had a hungry son and rent to pay, so I took the doll. That night, I hid it under my bed. I couldn't even look at it properly. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to a strange clicking sound. At first, I thought it was just rats in the wall, but then I heard a whisper, a low, creepy voice, almost like it was inside my ears. "Play 5, 17, 21, 34, 39, bonus ball 6. I sat up so fast I hit my head on the wall. The room was ice cold. I checked under the bed. The doll's eyes were open, glowing faintly. The mirror on its chest looked foggy, like someone had breathed on it. I didn't sleep that night. In the morning, I used the 20 rand that I had. It was the last money in my wallet to play the numbers. That evening, when the lotto results came out, I had won 38,000 rands. I cried like a child, like someone who had been rescued from drowning. That night, I set the doll on a cloth, gave it sweets and coins, and whispered, "Thank you." And just like that, it spoke again. "You are welcome, Lisa. Now feed me." At first, I didn't understand. Feed it how? I tried burning incense, leaving fruits, lighting candles. Then the dreams started. I began seeing goats being slaughtered, bowls of blood, women dancing naked in a circle, and always the doll watching me in the dream. One dream it said, "Blood opens doors." I asked a Sangoma in Pretoria North for help. When I described the doll, she told me, "That's not of this land. That one is marine. It came from the graveyard and the ocean, but I couldn't stop now. The doll gave me numbers again. I played and won 175,000. The money started flowing. I got out of Tembisa. I rented a flat in Midrand, bought a second-hand car, opened a small hair studio. I was finally living. But the more money came in, the darker things got. The doll got demanding. If I ignored it for too long, I would hear things breaking in the house. My dreams got worse. Some nights I would wake up with scratches on my body. I started sleeping with the lights on. Then I made a mistake. I let my boyfriend move in. He didn't know about the doll, obviously. One day, while cleaning, he touched it by mistake. That night he collapsed, just dropped to the floor like he had been unplugged. He survived, but he never spoke properly again. The doctor said it was physiological trauma, but I knew the doll punished him. That's when I decided to give the doll its own space. I placed it in a glass cabinet, covered it with red and gold cloth, and gave it its own corner in my room. I fed it candles, oils, coins. I even gave it animal blood once, but then it stopped giving me lotto numbers. It gave me a name, Nomvola Kumalo, Mamelodi, white car, Thursday, 6:45 p.m., not her real name. I was confused, but that same Thursday, the news broke. A woman named Nomvola had been shot in her white polo. Time of death, 6:45 p.m. My blood ran cold. I realized something. The doll wasn't just giving me numbers anymore. It was giving me death dates. I freaked out, took it far away near Rustenburg, dug a hole and buried it deep in the forest. I even poured holy water and prayed. But when I got home, it was sitting on my bed, covered in dirt, with a smile on its hooded face. That night I fell to the floor and begged it to leave me alone. It responded clear and cold. You kissed me, you thanked me, you called me mother. Now we are one. Since then I stopped playing lotto. I don't use the numbers it gives me. I just leave it alone. I keep it hidden. My business are still doing okay, but I know they are not running on my power alone. The worst part, my son, he talks to the doll now, says, Mama, the lady gives me numbers too. I'm sharing this as a warning. Don't let desperation drive you into the mouth of evil. That doll gave me riches, but it also gave me a nightmare. Not everything that brings money is a blessing. Some riches come wrapped in shadows. Dear listeners, that was our first story. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Let us move over to our next story. My name is Anonymous. I'm 33 years old, born and raised in Soweto. I've always been someone who respects spiritual things, church, prayer, all of that. I might not be the most religious guy, but I grew up in a house where you prayed before you ate and you never disrespect a prophet. So when I met Prophetess Anonymous, I wasn't even looking for love. I just wanted help. At the first time, things were rough for me. I had just lost my job at a security company. I was crashing at my cousin's place and I was trying to start a small side hustle selling sneakers. Depression was hitting me hard and I thought maybe a spiritual push would help. One Sunday afternoon, I ended up at this church in Tarfontein. It wasn't big, just a warehouse space with plastic chairs and loud music. But the energy, it was different. People were shouting, crying, falling. The prophetess walked in, the 3 bodyguards dressed in white from head to toe, holding a golden mic. Her name was Prophetess Anonymous, but people gave her a nickname. After service, I tried to leave quietly, but someone called me to the front and looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You have been fighting shadows since birth. The spirit of delay follows you, but today God says it's over." I didn't even know this woman, but she described my life like she had been following me for years. She offered me a one-on-one session and said, "Cleansing." That's how it started. Next thing, I was going to her house twice a week. She had a mansion in Glenmarie Gate, expensive couches, and kind of place where everything smelled like money and anointing oil. The session started off with prayer and fasting instructions. Then came private prophecy. Then came spiritual hugs. Before I knew it, I was spending nights there. She told me I had spiritual calling that God had revealed. I was chosen. Me, chosen. I didn't question it. I just fluttered. But then things started getting weird. One night she took me to a separate house. She said it was her personal prayer space. It was quiet, no windows, just candles, brown bottles, and huge metal bathtub in the center of the room. She said this is where real spiritual cleansing happens. Real power doesn't come from noise, it comes from stillness and sacrifice. I asked what was in the tub. She said it was cleansing water from spiritual realm. Later I found out was water collected from a mortuary, the same water used to wash corpses in brackets dead bodies. I wanted to leave. I was uncomfortable, but she said if I walked away now, my doors would close again. And I won't lie to you, I stayed. I let her pour that water on me. I let her chant. I sat in the cold bathtub while she rubbed strange oils on my back. After that night, things changed. Money started coming in out of nowhere. I got 2 sneaker deals. My hustle picked up fast. She told me to keep praying with her, to stay close. She called me her king, but I started noticing her real business wasn't prayer, it was manipulation. She had a list of rich clients, politicians, pastors, and musicians. She would sell them miracle solutions that were just dishwashing liquid mixed with herbs. She told one man that could grow his business if he bathed in milk and cow dung. He actually did it. One lady paid 50,000 for spiritual keys that came in a plastic lunchbox. She had books of dark prayers. These weren't psalms, these were ancient words, some in languages I couldn't even place. She told me people think prayer is about shouting. No, my love, prayer is about control. You command spirits, you make things move. One night I saw her mix graveyard soil with black powder and sprinkle it inside a church she was visiting the next day. She said, "This will make them love me. They will give all their money." Watch, and it worked. I started helping her with those things, packing oils, carrying drums and strange water, lying to clients. At that point, I was deep inside. Not because I loved it, but because I loved her, or maybe I just loved the lifestyle. We had money, we had influence. People knelt before her and I was her chosen man. But something in me started to shift. I started seeing how broken some of these people were. A woman came to her after losing her child, and all Prophetess Anonymous said was, "Give me 7,000 and I'll bring you peace." I couldn't stomach it anymore. The turning point was when she asked me to collect something from the cemetery at night. She said it was for a high-level client. that we needed soil from a grave that was less than 7 days old. That was my line. I told her I was done. At first, she laughed. She thought I was joking, but when I packed my bags and actually left, she got angry and told me, "You don't walk away from a covenant. We are spiritually bound now. You will come back." But I never did. I went back home to Soweto, started over. It wasn't easy. I had to rebuild everything from scratch, but at least now I sleep in peace. People still think all prophetess are holy, but I saw the behind the scenes. I lived it. I helped create the illusion. And trust me, not everything holy is from God. Some people aren't praying for you, they are praying on you. So to anyone out there desperate for a miracle, be careful who you run to. Some of these prophetess are just ritualists in fancy suits. Guys, that was our last story. Feel free to tell us what you think in the comment section. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Let's meet again in the next episode.